Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, before we get started, I just want to thank you all again so much for bumping this channel up over 50 subscribers. That seemed like such a far off goal not very long ago, but here we are, next stop 100. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here. My name is Gerrit Harding. What I do is make tutorials about editing software, cameras, videos, photos, everything that you need to know to create with these things and that thing. So subscribe if you're into that kind of stuff, because I make new videos every single Monday and Wednesday, and each and every one of them is going to teach you something. So if you're into learning new stuff, definitely make sure to hit that big red button down there, and if you feel like it, hit the bell. Without any further ado, today's video: is the Sony a6000 a good camera for video? It's definitely got pros and cons, but I'm going to let you make your own decision. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you what I think about whether or not this camera is a good buy for video. The first thing that we're going to talk about here, as you might expect already, is the resolution. Does this thing shoot 4K? Does it shoot just HD? Does it shoot full HD? Where are we lying on the spectrum? If you want to shoot MP4 files, if that's the workflow that you need, this thing only goes up to 1440 by 1080, which is not full HD, but it's not far away. It looks really good regardless. But if you shoot in AVC HD, you're able to get the full HD out of this sensor, 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second. It's good. It doesn't go up to 4K, but it does shoot some good looking video. Couple examples right here with just the kit lens here behind me on my desk. A couple of these you'll see are macro shots. All you have to do for that is take your lens off, flip it around. I've got other videos about that. I'll link them in the description down below. So once you're done with this video, you can go check out those videos and learn a little something new. Next, we're gonna go for the ergonomics of this thing. It is a tiny little camera, and as you can imagine, that can cause some problems. Because it is so light, you get a lot of that shake, and if you are shooting macro like that, you can see that shake pretty strongly. You can always stabilize this in post, but I would highly recommend picking up an image stabilized lens for this guy, because it is so light, it is so easy to shake around. That's not entirely a bad thing though, because you can wear this around your neck all day and barely even feel it. The T6i that I'm shooting on right now with the battery grip under it weighs a pretty hefty chunk. So if you're carrying that thing around on your neck all day long, you're definitely going to feel it. It's going to make you sore, and it's not going to be the best day by the end of the day. The record button on this camera is kind of hidden away over here, right there, you can see, and that's kind of a weird spot for me. I don't know if it's just my hands or if it's everybody, but when I'm shooting, my thumb is generally on the back of this wheel, and then I've got to come over and like around to the side, and it's not really raised, it's not textured very differently, so it can be hard to find unless you're looking at it. So generally you're going to want to be able to see it, push the button, and then start recording. So it's kind of hard. I'm sure with a lot of practice it would become very easy to do, but just for me, I'm coming from my T6i, and it's a little bit hard to find that button. Not a big gripe, just something I noticed. One thing you definitely want to do if you are going to be using this guy for video is switch it to face detection autofocus, because if it's just doing its basic autofocus, it's not looking for faces necessarily, and it's just looking for whatever it can find in the frame that it thinks should be focused. But when you switch it to face detection, it's going to look for your face, specifically your face, because you can register faces, and then even if you're in a crowd or something like that, the autofocus is pretty great, especially when you've got all those settings set up. It's going to focus right in on your face, and it's going to stay there pretty steadily. Sometimes it hunts a little bit, but it's nothing bad. This would be a fantastic vlog camera. Let me get my GorillaPod and I'll show you like the full size of this setup, because it's tiny. Alright, so if you're in like a vlog setup, this is it. It's super light. I think the GorillaPod might weigh more than the camera does, which is something crazy, and it's actually kind of nice for stabilization, because once you get it out there, having all that weight just right in your hand like that is pretty nice, as opposed to being all top heavy and trying to tip over all the time. Nobody likes that. That's not fun to deal with. With this, it's just like boom, right in your hand. It's super comfy, and it's crazy easy to hold. This even way out like this, you're gonna take a long time before you get too tired to keep doing that. This thing's not gonna be able to shoot a lot of slow motion, so if you are looking to get those more Peter McKinney vlogs, it's gonna be a bit of a struggle because you're not gonna be able to get that 1080p. You only get up to 60 out of this camera, which definitely could be worse. I mean, you could be limited to 30 or 24 and then have absolutely no slow motion whatsoever. 60 frames per second is gonna slow you down to about half of reality speed. So you're able to get slower shots, but they're not like those. It's more like. It's, I don't know, it's fine. You can work around it. If you need 120, probably don't go with this, but if you don't need it, this camera's gonna do you just fine. If you're just vlogging, if you're doing talking head videos, anything like that, this camera is more than adequate for YouTube. It takes phenomenal raw photos as well, so if you're looking to do photo and video, you're square with this camera. Full HD video, 24 frames per second. The onboard microphones are actually pretty good, and that's not something I say about a lot of cameras, because generally, especially on Canons, those onboard microphones sound like garbage, just so bad. It sounds like you have like 300 tin cans in a trash bag and you're just smashing it on a concrete road. It's not something you want to deal with. So the fact that this thing has decent onboard microphones where you can actually use the sound, you don't even have to record external audio like I'm doing with this guy, is just a fantastic thing. I mean, there's a lot of good to say about this camera. The small form factor makes it easy to carry even all day long. It shoots full HD video. The onboard microphone is pretty good. It's definitely passable. It shoots 60 frames, it shoots 24 frames. It's everything that you're gonna need from a YouTube camera, and it's very good for just a general video camera. If you were just running around somewhere, you wanted to take shots of it, it's a lot easier to do that on a small camera like this than it is on a bigger camera like any DSLR, because this literally will fit in your pocket, like no sweat. If you're wearing a sweatshirt with one of those big pockets on the front, you could just stick this thing in there. You don't even need to have the neck strap on it, and you're good to go. You're barely gonna feel it in there, no one's gonna know that you have it, and you'll be able to take pictures and videos as you need to in whatever situation you're in, and you won't be drawing a ton of attention to yourself or your camera, so you'll be able to get more genuine reactions. You won't have people like trying to pose in the background of your pictures, because you could just reach in that pocket, pop it out, take a quick picture of whatever you need to take a picture of, and you're good to go. This camera does have a dedicated video mode on the dial here. I don't know if you can see it, but if you go over just a couple, it looks like a little piece of film. And once you're in that mode, it gives you more control over your video using your function button back here, using your wheels, your dials, everything that you need to control about your video, you can control with this thing. It does manual control in video, and that's great. There are a lot of cameras that the video capabilities are good, but the manual controls in those videos are pretty bad, so that's a nice thing to see from this camera. I'm gonna put a poll up here, so click on that. Let me know if you think this camera is a good camera for you, or if not. I personally think this camera is great, especially if you're getting started on YouTube. The price tag around $500 with the kit lens is a solid price tag that's very hard to beat, especially for the functionality in this camera. It does have some like gimmicky features, but frequently those gimmicky features are pretty helpful. Like it does highlight zebraing, which I'll show you on the screen right now what that looks like. It just shows you where all of the overexposed areas are in your image, even while you are recording, which is a fantastic thing to have. Even though you don't like need it, it's a very nice inclusion on Sony's part. I think the Sony a6000 as a video camera is a good buy, and the fact that it also takes great photos is just puts it right over the edge. If you're looking at this camera and you're wanting to get started on YouTube, or you just want to make home videos or whatever, if you're wanting to take videos, if you want to take photos, you're not going to be disappointed with this camera. I would highly recommend that you pick one up. There's a link in the description down below where you can get one from Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so I will get a small commission if you do pick up the camera through that link, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. Again, thank you guys so much for 50 subscribers. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more content every Monday and Wednesday, And tell me in the comments down below what you think about this camera. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? What don't you? Are you gonna pick one up? Are you not? Let me know down there. Let's start a conversation. Let's chat. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.